Alright, what's going on, guys? Dom The Commish here, and it's been a little while, took a little break for a little under a week, I'd say, but now today we are back and talking about the Combine. It happened over the weekend, and yeah, so right here we have the top 20 running backs, and we have the Combine results right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at them, and we're going to, see if their stock improved or hurt themselves, or we're just going to see who did the best in the Combine, who did the worst in the Combine. So if you guys like this video, please subscribe, leave a like, comment, and I'll try getting more videos out to you guys. It's been a busy time, work, school, stuff like that. But yeah, let's get started. So we have 6 categories: Combine Legend, improved a little, stayed the same, hurt a little, hurt a lot, and not applicable. So I think there's really only one running back in this list that applies to non-applicable, and I think it's Ashton Jeanty, because I think he's the only running back out of this entire group. And also, this running back class is absolutely loaded with depth, so I apologize if your guy's not on here. I know that we're missing Donovan Edwards, but he's going to be a 7th rounder, and he had a good Combine, but not good enough to be on this list. Same thing with Jardon Blue, I think his name is Blue from Jaden Blue. Had a good thing, but he's not in the top 20, and so I'm only taking the top 20 running backs here. So yeah, let's get started. So let's start with the first guy on our list. Obviously, probably one of the best running back performances in these Combines, in Brayshell Tootin. Okay, let's turn this off. Who, the 5'9" senior out of New Jersey, went to Virginia Tech. He was ranked 14th in the Combine in production and 8th in athleticism. His physicals were great. Number 1 40-yard dash. Let's look at his 10-yard split. Number 1 10-yard split. Number 1 vertical jump. He was number 4 in broad jump. 3 cone he didn't do. 20-yard shuttle, he was, where was he? He was last in 20-yard shuttle, which, yeah, not great. And then he didn't do the bench, right? Yeah, so basically you have first, 4th, last. Yeah, the 20-yard shuttle didn't do it, but honestly, when you have the fastest 40-yard, the fastest 10-yard split, he's explosive, and he has big hops. It's honestly crazy. And it says all. I'm not going to go too much into the actual strength and weaknesses, the overall scouting profile. I'm looking at, all right, this is what he looked like in the Combine, and this is what I think he did. And I think that this is going to go down as one of the more legendary Combine performances, especially if he turns out to be a steal in the draft. He's the speedster. He could do good, honestly, as the counter to a power back, someone obviously they already have Keaton Mitchell. I don't think they take him, but someone like the Ravens, having Derrick Henry as the power back, and Tootin can kind of take the Justice Hill role, that receiving speedy back. But overall, he probably had the best running back Combine out of anyone, and because his stock was so low already, he definitely improved it quite a lot. The next guy we're going to talk about was really injured a lot, apparently, during this Combine, and that is Cam Scatabo. Where is he? Did he do bench, vertical? Where did he go? We're going to... Oh, yeah, I know he definitely did vertical, so we're going to go and... Yep, Cam Scatabo, right here. So he didn't run the 40, probably because of his injury, but he did bench. Let's see. Come on. Yeah, he did a 39.5 vertical jump while injured and 10.3 broad jumps. He did have a very good production score. Didn't have a great athleticism score, unfortunately. But if we look broad jump, he was kind of towards the bottom. He was halfway, but not the best, not the worst. But for vertical, he was about...
Discover a world of savings with a AAA membership. We're more than just emergency.
Come on. All right. And the vertical jump, he was 3rd. So overall, is this performance going to improve his stock or hurt his stock? I think that this stock is about staying the same, especially for me. I don't like Cam Scatabo as a prospect any more or less than I did, just because of how hurt he was. So I think that his projection was kind of like a late second, early third rounder, and I think it's kind of the same now, especially because he didn't really get to show what he got at the combine. And so, yeah, I think that's it for Cam Scatabo talking about. Now let's talk about, I believe, Devin Neal. Let's see where he is. Yeah, because DJ Giddens is... Here we go. So, overall, Devin Neal is as soon as you get here, he's a 5'11", 213 back. Not too elusive, but also not too powerful. He didn't run a great 40. He ran a 460 and a 459. Not amazing. He jumped 37, broad jump 10.4. Those are all kind of mid. The 10-yard split, though, is also kind of bad towards the end. So he hasn't been the fastest, and he wasn't kind of like that elusive back. He was kind of like the power back who, if he gets in the open field, he can burst, but he's not the guy who's going to be juking out as many people, and that's who he was in college. But overall, I definitely think this performance hurt his stock a little bit. He was kind of in the bottom end of the combine stats. I'm still going to put him in the hurt a little stock. He didn't look amazing at the combine, and especially for being how depth this running back class is, he's not going to be picked at least in the first 3 or 4 rounds, I don't think. Now it's time to look at the Tennessee running back. Let's check where he is. His name, I know his name, I just forget what it is. Did he not run? Let's see. Search college. Let's see. Vertical. Did you do the vertical? Tennessee. Yeah, here we go. Dylan Sampson. So, once again, also didn't run the 40. Did the same thing pretty much as Cam Scatabo, except he only had 13 reps on the bench press. 35 inches, kind of mid. Broad jump is also kind of mid. Bench press, 13 reps, kind of mid. I'm going to go along the same lines as Cam Scatabo, just because, Devin Neal was kind of like, I know people were talking about him like he was going to be some sort of a steal. Haven't seen too much of the hype around Dylan Sampson as well. So overall, I think because his stock's a little bit lower, the fact that he had a mid-combine just kind of solidifies where people are going to take him in probably the mid-5th, 6th, or 7th rounds. So I think I'm going to keep Sampson around here. Now the next person we're going to go and look at is DJ Giddens. I love this website. So 4.43 40-yard dash, pretty decent. For a 6 foot 212 guy, a 4.3 is very good. He's got great size. Also 39.5, 10.10 broad jump, 4.33 20-yard shuttle. Where does the shuttle take him? He's kind of mid, about in that middle age scenario. So he basically had a very similar combine to Tootin, but he had a little bit slower of a 40-yard, about 0.1 seconds. I know that's a lot. And a lot lower of he just doesn't have the straight speed that Tootin does. But he's bigger. He didn't do bench, which for a 6-foot running back I'd like to have seen, but yeah, he's kind of like Bryce Tootin, except a little bit slower and a bit more powerful. And overall, I think this combine definitely helps his stock a little bit. He can jump over guys such as Devin Neal or Dylan Sampson. But I think overall, decent combine, decent stats overall. There's nothing more you can ask from him, The next person we're going to look at is Jarquez Hunter out of Auburn. Let's take a look. The 5'9", 204. It's a bit heavy for his height, but as long as he can, gets those quick cuts. Once again, decent 40. Terrible 10-yard split. I think that's close to the bottom of it. Yeah, Jarquez Hunter. He's towards sort of the bottom. Vertical jump 33.5. Broad jump 10'0". Oh shoot. And 21 reps on the bench press. So this guy, despite being 5'9", is, a stronger guy. Runs decently. He looks like he runs very fast, but it overall doesn't. Let's see, what was his strengths? Character and work ethic, contract, and handles have a heavy workload. We've seen that with his bench reps. Squat rack warrior, downhill transition, contact power, create added yardage. So overall, did this combine play any devil's advocate to his strengths? I don't think so. But was it overly good and overshadowed his weaknesses? No. I think he stays the same. Decent combine. He's kind of in that same gray area with those three. Now, we need to look at the Cal running back. School. Let's talk about that. This guy I know is in here, the Washington running back. After we figured out that these running backs are going back to school, I know this one isn't. Jordan James, the Oregon running back. So I guess it's only the top 18. Because this tier list might be a little bit outdated. Overall, 5'9.5", 205, but not fast. 162 10-yard split with a 9.9 broad jump. Overall was 21st in the combine rank for total score. Let's see. Hits sudden lateral cuts to elude early penetration, instant stop and start, absorbs and runs through contact, demolish defensive backs, short throws and add yards catch. The issue with this is that this style of play might work with him in college, but a 5'9", 205 back is not going to be able to run over guys in the NFL, which is why I'm putting Jordan James as my first hurt a lot, just because his combine really hurt his production, and despite being on the number one team, the undefeated before Ohio State, it's not good. Like, weaknesses: rushes the run and climbs top blocks, lacks finesse. If you lack finesse and your whole game is to run over people and you're 5'9", you're not going to be able to do that, especially not in the NFL. Caleb Johnson. I know Caleb Johnson because the issue with Caleb Johnson already is right here. He was one of the slowest 40-yard times. He was the slowest 10-yard split. He's a 6'1", 224 back. He's not supposed to be the fastest guy. So he does get a lot of production. A total score with 11th from the draft. You know, prospect grade 6.83. So where does that put him? Or 6.23. They're saying that he's going to be an average starter. Comparison to Tyler Algier, keeps feet active, brushes off second level tacklers. Overall, does the fact that he didn't run like a 4.5 or a 4.4 mean that he is going to be a terrible prospect? No. But it definitely hurts his stock a little, seeing as it was Genty, Hampton, and then Caleb Johnson. He was even over Judkins and Henderson, who we're going to talk about later, and I don't think that he's over them anymore. Now that, because we'll actually start right now. We'll talk about Judkins, who is the next guy on the list, who overall had a really good combine compared to him. You know, 6 foot, 221. He had second athleticism score. He had the number one broad jump. He had a decent 40 and 10-yard split. Vertical jump was also good. And I mean, just look at the strengths compared to the weaknesses. I mean, weaknesses: hips are too tight for sharp angles, lacks spatial awareness, below average speed, which he is more than Johnson, averaged less than 4 yards per carry in 5-9 conference games during the 2024 regular season. Overall, Quinshon Judkins, when put in the right situation, will do a lot better, which is why I'm putting him in improved a little, just because he looked great athletically. Taj Brooks is the next guy we're going to be looking at of Texas Tech. A lot of people are calling this guy, looking really good last season. The 5'9", 214 with the 4.52. 10-yard split is not great. Vertical jump, also not great. 3-cone drill. I think he was one of only 2 running backs to do the 3-cone drill. And then 16 reps, 406 shuttle. How is he in the shuttle? He was the best in the shuttle. But overall, I mean, you look at this guy who was probably a 6th or 7th rounder, and people were calling him, steal the draft. And look what he does. He does every single drill trying to get his combine stock up. Did he have a good performance? Not really amazing, which is why I'm going to put him in hurt a little, because if I'm looking at these performances, I see that he really wanted to try and get his stock up, and it just didn't work for him. So I'm putting him in hurt a little. Now it's time for the guy who seems to be all over my screen. I don't know why he keeps putting over here. Maybe because I'm a Penn State fan. I just love to see the Rutgers running back doing amazing. Kyle Monahai, 5'8", 211. 5'8" with a 4.6, that is a recipe for disaster. Running backs who run 4.6 or slower tend to deteriorate a lot more than running backs who run faster. And also at 5'8", you're only draw jumping 9.9, 34.5 vertical jump, not amazing. I know he still played good for Rutgers last year, but if you're a 5'8" running back and you don't have speed, you don't have size, you don't have hops, your draft stock is hurting a lot. Kyle Monahai was coming into this league, coming into the season last year, was probably one of the more promising prospects. And now, he's also senior, so he doesn't have the age advantage on some of these guys that are coming out as juniors. But overall, I mean, I don't like what he's done in this draft combine. The next person we're going to take a look at is Ollie Gordon II, where, I mean, he might have the same issue, but the difference between him is that he's 6'1", 226. He's not 5'8". He has size that he can run over people with. So that's why I'm not too as scared at this 4.61. He also, he jumped 1 more inch. Overall, his physicals are very similar to Kyle Monahai's, although he's a lot bigger, so he can get away with it. He played for a terrible team last year as well. So, overall, did this combine help it? No. But did it hurt as much as Kyle Monahai? Absolutely not. I think it definitely hurt his stock a little bit more. And guys such as Tootin, Giddens, Hunter could all maybe jump above him despite him having the talent. But, yeah. I think that is about it. Wait, is that not Taj Brooks? Shoot, is Taj Brooks Texas Tech? Where are you? You're Texas Tech, aren't you? You are Texas Tech. So that's not Taj Brooks. That was embarrassing. Yeah, so let's look at the Texas A&M running back who actually is the Texas A&M running back. I'm sure I'm going to get absolutely flamed by Texas A&M guys. All right, very fun. Le'Veon Moss is going back to school. So ignore everything I said about him. It's Taj Brooks. The next guy we're going to go and look at is Omarion Hampton. Had a good day on the bench reps, I just saw. 6', 221. Consensus number 2 running back in the class. He's at a 6.3. Eventually will be a good starter. Had very good production scores. 40 wasn't terrible. 10-yard split wasn't terrible. Vertical jump, broad jump was pretty decent. High volume battering ram with 3 size, strength, and regression. 1 speed, long shot 1 runner. Slow vision, bangs in the blockers, too eager to leave his feet. Overall, Omarion Hampton, does this combine push him over the edge to be close to Ashton Genty? Absolutely not. His values roughly stayed the same. He's going to be a first, late, early, second guy, and he's still going to be a late first, early, second guy. The next guy we're going to look at is the UCF running back. Let's see if we can find him. Here he is. R.J. Harvey. Here we go. Yeah, he definitely looks a little bit different, but that's him. The 5'8", 205 senior out of Orlando. 4.4 flat, great 40-yard, 1.57. Not a great 10-yard split, so his top end speed's a lot better. 4.34, 16 reps. Modest levels of burst and elusiveness. We saw that. That makes sense because his 10-yard split wasn't amazing. Needs to expedite his tempo to stay ahead of NFL defenders, which is okay because he has great top speed, average instincts and feel for lane development. Movements are segmented and lack creativity between the attackers, and below average ability to square and stall NFL blitzers. So he's not a blocker. That makes sense. He's 5'8". He's not going to be a blocker. You're not going to draft this kid to be a blocker. You're going to draft him to be a speedster. With a 4.4, 40-yard dash, the biggest thing about running backs and receivers is really shining on your areas of expertise. If you're a short running back and your expertise is your strength, then most likely teams are not going to want you because you're not going to be able to use your strength as much as a 5'8 running back than you are as a 6-foot running back. With your 5'8 running back, you want speed and elusiveness, and that's what this kid has. So I think his stock improved a little bit. I think that I don't exactly know where he was going to go in the draft, but overall, he could go from, what is it, maybe like a 6th to a 5th rounder or even a 4th rounder. Trevor Etienne, he was one of the more hyped running backs coming into this year. Definitely did not do amazing compared to other running backs in this season, but in the combine, I mean, good 10-yard split, good 40, 35-inch vertical. He's 5'9", 198. So 5'9", 198, good speed. Let's see his weaknesses. On the smaller side for volume carries in the league, that's fine. Below average burst, lacks base strength. Doesn't offer explosive pay, and arrested in March 24 on 4 charges. Yeah. So character concerns are an issue. So with the character concerns and with the decent combine, I'm going to put him at stayed the same. He's going to be a late round pick. He's still going to be a late round pick. And overall, I think he's probably going to stay the same. And the last guy we're going to talk about is Travion Henderson, the second Ohio State back in this draft. Here we go. Ran the faster out of the two, despite being, who many people consider the power back. We've seen that this kid has got power. 5'10", 202, 4'4", 10, 1.52, 38-inch vertical, 10.8 broad jump. He looked good in this season. I've always liked him more than Judkins. Slightly undersized to take on a heavier workload. He'll be fine with that. One speed runner. He's a power back. Doesn't need that. Catches too much contact at the line of scrimmage. Well, then have your lineman block for him. I think that Travion Henderson, despite me hating Ohio State, I think that he can still be a decent back. And I think overall, people were saying around the fact that, where is he? Where's Judkins? That Judkins and Henderson were around the same kind of draftable area. I'm taking Henderson over Judkins now, especially after this combine. He proved that he can do whatever they needed and better for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and that they can see he's got a faster 40-yard, faster 10-yard split. They have the same vertical jump. They're so similar. Judkins had 2 inches more, or sorry, that's technically 4 inches more on the broad jump, and then no data for any of these. So overall, I think that Travion Henderson is just a faster version of Quinshon Judkins, and he proved that he's a great running back, and I'd rather take him over Judkins. So I think his stock also improves a little. So here's the combine list. Tootin had far and away the best combine out of anybody. These 4 guys also improved their stock a lot. A bunch of people kept their stock the same. Caleb Johnson really struggled. So did Ollie Gordon, Kyle Monaghy, and Jordan James. And we'll see if Ashton Jeanty turns out to be the best running back from this class. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.